Luna lived in New Haven. It was a city of old stone and whispering trees. Ancient university buildings stood beside bustling modern shops. Green parks offered moments of quiet thought. Luna walked these streets, a young artist with a secret. She saw the beauty in the everyday. She noticed the cracks in the sidewalks. And she carried a magic within her hands, a rare and wondrous gift. Her talent was unique, almost unbelievable. Luna could paint things into existence. If she painted a flower, its scent would fill the air. If she painted a bird, you might hear its song. But her most practiced magic, her most hidden skill, was painting money. Crisp new bills could flow from her brush. She used this gift carefully, with a quiet caution. She knew such power was a delicate thing. She lived a simple life, despite her abilities. Her small apartment was filled with more books than riches. She painted for herself, mostly. Small joys, little comforts, a warm meal on a cold day, a new set of paints when hers ran low. The true extent of her power was a secret she guarded closely. New Haven, with its history and its dreams, was unaware of the magic that slept within one of its quiet artists. Luna often wondered about her gift. Where did it come from? Why her? These questions had no easy answers, so she focused on her art. She focused on the feel of the brush in her hand. She focused on the colors as they mixed. This was her world, her quiet magic, and for now it was enough for her. The city bustled on, unaware of the young woman who could paint its fortunes. Luna's studio was her sanctuary. It was a cozy attic, high above the city sounds. Sunlight streamed through a round window. Dust motes danced in the golden light. The air smelled wonderfully of old wood. It smelled of turpentine and drying oils. It smelled of creativity and dreams. This was where Luna felt most herself, most alive. This was where her magic felt at home. Shelves lined the slanted walls. They were crammed with jars of pigments, bright reds, deep blues, sunny yellows. Tubes of paint lay in colorful disarray. Brushes of all sizes stood in old tin cans. Some were fine and delicate, for tiny details. Others were broad and sturdy, for bold strokes. Canvases leaned against each other, some blank, some holding forgotten sketches. Each item held a story, a possibility. In one corner, a comfortable, worn armchair sat. It was draped with a faded, patterned throw. Here, Luna would sit and think. She would look out at the city rooftops. She would dream up her next creation. Old art books were piled nearby. Their pages were filled with masters of the past. Their work inspired her. Their dedication encouraged her. The studio was more than just a room. It felt like a living thing. It seemed to whisper ideas to her. The gentle creak of the floorboards. The sigh of the wind outside the window. These sounds were part of her creative process. It was a space of quiet enchantment. Here, Luna could truly be Luna, the artist. Here, her secret gift felt safe and understood. One crisp autumn morning, a letter arrived. It was not like the usual bills or advertisements. The envelope was thick, made of expensive paper. It was sealed with a curious wax emblem. Luna's name was written in elegant, flowing script. There was no return address, only the imprint of a single, stylized feather. A shiver of intrigue ran down Luna's spine. She had never received such a letter before. She opened it carefully, her fingers trembling slightly. Inside, the message was brief, yet profound. It spoke of New Haven, her beloved city. It spoke of its hidden needs, its quiet struggles. The letter was from someone who called themselves the Benefactor. The name was mysterious, unknown to Luna, but their words felt sincere, full of concern for the city's well-being. The Benefactor had a special request for Luna. They knew of her unique talents, though how, the letter did not say. They asked her to create a masterpiece. Not just any painting, but one with a specific purpose. This painting was to bring prosperity to New Haven. It was to shower the city with good fortune. It was to make its people happy and secure. The weight of this request felt immense. Luna sat in her attic studio, the letter in her hand. Her heart beat faster. Prosperity for the entire city. It was a grand, almost overwhelming idea. Could her art truly achieve such a thing? The Benefactors seemed to believe so. They offered a generous sum for the work. But it was not the money that captivated Luna. It was the challenge, the possibility of helping her city. The mystery of the Benefactor lingered. Luna accepted the commission. The thought of helping New Haven filled her with a nervous excitement. She spent days thinking about the painting. What would prosperity look like? How could she capture its essence on canvas? She walked the city streets, observing. She saw families laughing in the park. She saw students hurrying to class. She saw the quiet hope in people's eyes. These images began to form her vision. She chose her largest canvas. She stretched it taut across a wooden frame. Then, she began to mix her colors. She wanted vibrant, joyful hues. Golds that shimmered like sunlight, greens that spoke of growth and new beginnings, blues as clear as a hopeful sky. Each color was chosen with care. Each pigment held a piece of her intention. She was not just mixing paint, she was mixing magic and dreams. The painting began to take shape. She called it Prosperity's Dance. It was a scene of celebration. People of all ages, from all walks of life. They were dancing in the city square. Their faces were bright with joy. Buildings in the background looked newer, cared for. Trees were lush and full. The overall feeling was one of abundance, of shared happiness. Luna poured all her skill, all her magic into every brushstroke. Days turned into nights as Luna painted. She lost track of time, absorbed in her work. Her attic studio was filled with the scent of wet paint. The canvas glowed with an inner light. She focused her energy, her will. She imagined wealth flowing into every home. She envisioned worries lifting from every shoulder. The painting was becoming more than just an image. It was becoming a vessel for her powerful, unique gift. Section 5. Golden Rain, New Haven's dazzling dawn. Finally, Prosperity's Dance was complete. Luna stepped back, her heart pounding. The painting seemed to hum with a gentle energy. The colors were so vivid they almost pulsed. The figures in the painting looked as if they might step out of the canvas. It was, she felt, her best work yet. She carefully placed it by the round attic window. She hoped the Benefactor would be pleased with her efforts. The magic began almost immediately. As the first rays of morning sun touched the canvas, something wondrous happened. Tiny, shimmering specks of light lifted from the painting. They drifted out of the open window. They looked like golden dust motes. Then, as they floated over New Haven, they transformed. They became actual bills, crisp dollar bills, fluttering down like gentle rain upon the city streets. The people of New Haven awoke to an astonishing sight. Money was appearing everywhere, in their gardens, on their doorsteps, in the city squares. At first there was disbelief, then cautious joy. Laughter echoed through the streets. Old forgotten dreams were suddenly within reach. Debts were paid, small businesses flourished. The city seemed to sigh in relief. Parks were cleaned, buildings repaired, and a spirit of optimism bloomed. Luna watched from her attic window, a smile on her face. Her painting was working. It was bringing the prosperity she had envisioned. Children played with newfound toys, families enjoyed plentiful meals, the city was alive with a fresh, vibrant energy. It felt like a dream come true. Prosperity's Dance continued to release its golden shower. New Haven was bathed in a dazzling, hopeful dawn, all thanks to Luna's magical art. Section 6. The Tarnishing Touch. When Gold Turns Gray. The initial joy in New Haven was pure. It was like a city-wide festival. People helped each other, they shared their good fortune. There was a sense of community, stronger than ever before. The magical money from Prosperity's Dance seemed endless. It mended old problems and created new opportunities. Luna felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Her art had brought so much happiness. Her gift had served a truly noble purpose. But slowly, a change began. It was subtle at first, a little less sharing. A little more quiet counting. The endless supply of money started to feel normal. And when something feels normal, people often want more. The smiles on the street seemed a little tighter. Conversations became focused on who had gathered the most. The easy laughter was replaced by anxious glances. The spirit of generosity started to fade. Greed, like a creeping vine, began to wrap around the city's heart. People started to hoard the magical money. They argued over it. The sense of community fractured. The once bright bills that fell from the sky seemed less vibrant. Luna noticed it in her painting too. The colors in Prosperity's Dance were losing their luster. The joyful figures seemed a little less animated. The golden light within the canvas was dimming. The city itself began to feel different. The fresh paint on buildings seemed to dull. The newly planted flowers in the parks drooped slightly. The vibrant energy was replaced by a restless, hungry feeling. The magic was fading, not because the painting was failing, but because the spirit it celebrated was being lost. Luna watched with growing concern. The beautiful dream of prosperity was turning into something hollow and gray. Section 7. Unmasking the Artist, a lesson in true value. Luna felt a deep ache in her heart. Her beautiful creation, her gift to the city, was souring. The joy it brought had transformed into something ugly. She knew she had to do something. She thought of the Benefactor. Perhaps they would know what to do. She wrote a letter, explaining her fears and the city's plight. She sent it, hoping for a swift reply for some guidance. A few days later, an invitation arrived. It was from the Benefactor. They asked Luna to meet them at an old, quiet art gallery in the city. Luna went, her mind filled with questions. She found the gallery easily. Inside, it was peaceful. An elderly person stood looking at a painting. They had kind eyes and paint stains on their fingers. They turned and smiled gently at Luna. "Welcome, Luna," they said softly. "I am the Benefactor." Luna was surprised. The Benefactor was not a wealthy tycoon or a mysterious figure of power. They were an artist, just like her, only older and wiser. "I was once like you," the Benefactor explained. "I too had a gift. I learned that true wealth is not about how much money you have. Money is a tool, nothing more. It can build or it can break depending on the hands that hold it." The old artist gestured around the gallery. "These paintings," they said, "they hold value. Not just in money, but in the stories they tell. In the emotions they evoke. In the connections they create between people. Your painting showed New Haven what money could do, but the people, and perhaps you too, forgot what money is for. True prosperity comes from within. From community, from creativity, from kindness. Not just from endless coins." Section 8. A new canvas painting for connection. Luna listened to the Benefactor's words. They resonated deep within her. She understood now. Her magic had given the city money, but it had not given the city wisdom. She had focused on the material, not the spirit. The old artist's gentle lesson opened her eyes. She realized the responsibility that came with her gift. It was not just about creating, but about the purpose of creation. She returned to her attic studio with a new resolve. She looked at Prosperity's dance. It was now dull, almost lifeless. The magic was nearly gone. With a sigh, she covered it with a cloth. She would not paint money anymore. That chapter was closed. Instead, she took out a fresh canvas. Her heart felt lighter, even though the city outside was still grappling with its faded fortune. Luna began to paint again. This time, she painted for different reasons. She painted the small, beautiful things she saw in New Haven, the way sunlight fell on an old brick wall, the laughter of children playing by the fountain, the quiet dignity of the city's elders. Her new paintings held no monetary magic, but they held a different kind of power. They held warmth and empathy and connection. She started to share her new art. She displayed her paintings in local cafes. She gave some to community centers. People stopped to look. They talked about the paintings. They shared stories inspired by them. Slowly, a new kind of richness began to spread. Not of money, but of shared experience. Her art began to mend the frayed edges of the community, one small painting at a time. Section 9. The Enduring Palette. Discovering Real Riches. Luna's journey had transformed her. She no longer saw her gift as a way to create instant solutions. She understood that true change, true wealth, was more complex. It was built slowly, with care and intention. Her art became a way to communicate. It became a way to inspire. It became a way to remind people of what truly mattered. The city of New Haven also began its slow healing. The magical money from Prosperity's dance eventually vanished completely. The painting itself became just a canvas with faded paint. Some people were disappointed. Others felt a strange sense of relief. They had learned a hard lesson about easy riches. They started to rebuild their connections. They started to value hard work, community efforts, and shared joys once more. The memory of the golden rain served as a quiet reminder. Luna continued to paint. Her studio was still her sanctuary. But now, its magic was shared more openly, more wisely. Her paintings celebrated New Haven's resilience. They captured its quiet beauty, its everyday heroes. They did not offer instant wealth, but they offered something more lasting. They offered perspective, they offered comfort, they offered a reflection of the community's true heart. The story of Luna and her magical money paintings became a local legend, a tale whispered among artists and dreamers. It taught that real prosperity isn't found in overflowing pockets, it's found in full hearts, it's found in strong communities, it's found in the creative spirit that lives within everyone. Art, Luna learned, could indeed bring prosperity. Not always the kind you can count, but the kind that truly enriches life.